Slide your bulletin actually. The forgotten side of success. Yes. The forgotten side of success. And we looked at 1 Peter 5, 5 through 7. We want to be winners, don't we? Where do we live? America. Everybody wants to be winners. Yes? My basketball team at my school came in third. So out of all the Christian schools, they're number 3. That's nothing to be ashamed of. But because it's in America, guess what? Only place matters. First. Do you remember Michelle Kwan? Or are you all too young to know her? Famous ice figure skater. And she was in the Olympics, and she skated, and she had a couple of boo-boos in her little program. Michelle Kwan ended up in 2nd place and received the silver medal. Number 2 figure skater in the world. And her response was, I'm absolutely disgusted because it's not 1st place. Really? Number 2 is not good enough? It really isn't anymore, is it? You have to be number 1. I get so mad with students in my class who get upset because they have a 98 sitting next to a kid who studied, came for health classes, and got a 70. We've got it all out of perspective. We're driven to be winners in our society. One reason why it's hard for us to consider being servants is the fact that we're pushed constantly for success. So stepping back and lowering ourselves to the position of a servant goes against everything that we're told, everything that we're pushed to do. But God is asking us to be servants. The problem is, if you want to be really successful, where's your focus go? On yourself, doesn't it? And if you're living a life where you focus on yourself, where does God fit in? And don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself and think that you can live a life where you focus on yourself and yet you're still close with God. You can't do it. Did you catch what the verses said? Did you see it? It was even in quote. God opposes the proud, but he what? Shows favor to the humble. Yet you're living in a world that says it's all about you. Focus on you. Right? And then God comes along and says, no, be a servant. It's not easy to do. It's an epidemic. America has an epidemic. We are so success-driven. So success-driven. All you got to do is go to the library or to your bookstore. The biggest number of books in all those places really always seem to deal with self-help. How to better yourself. How to get farther in your career. How to be a better student. How to get what you want. Get all the money you need. It's ridiculous. That's what we're driven to do. It's self-help to the rescue. Help yourself. Promote yourself. Build up yourself. When God says no, humble yourself. It's really hard to do. We live in this dichotomy. It's really big business. Self-help and success is a big business in America. Right? You got books, magazines, DVDs, and seminars. Constantly. If you watch infomercials, isn't that what a lot of those are about? How to become a millionaire in 3 easy steps. Well, if that was the case, wouldn't we all be millionaires? But instead we buy his stupid book, making him the millionaire, while we're still the poor schlub on the street. It's everywhere. It's around us. We're indoctrinated. So in the midst of all of this, when the whole culture is saying, be successful, drive, drive, push, push, who wants to stand up and go, I'd rather be a servant? Goes against the flow and the grain. It's really hard to do. What's missing? See, here's the problem. Here's the problem. Most motivations for success that should be never addressed. That's my humility keeper. Never address what people really want. What do we really want? Are you going to be honest with yourself right now? Because this is really what we all want. Contentment. Don't you want to feel contented and happy? Right? Is that the way we live though? Got to get a new car every 2 years. Well, it's got more stuff on it. Mine's out of date now. Buy a laptop. Oh, this old thing. It's a year old. Look, it's all out of date. I got to get something new. How many people constantly update their phones? Well, some people don't have phones. We're never satisfied. We're never content. More outfits, more shoes, more pocketbooks. If I got a better haircut, if I only made more money, if I had the latest game, constantly running after what the world's telling us, we're not content. We all want fulfillment. Don't you want to come home from work and sit down and go, wow, I really did something today. I'm fulfilled. There's no room in me. I gotta tell you one thing. Being a teacher is so hard. It's so much work. I have a stack of paper like this, literally, that all, and I really want to try to get them all graded by tomorrow. They have to be done. They go back 3 weeks, some 4 weeks. I work so much. I work all day long, my free period. I spend that tutoring consumer math for the seniors. After school, I tutor one-on-one with students to 4 o'clock. Wednesdays, Ms. Karen and I do SAT help free till 5 o'clock. I come home, I'm exhausted. And then I pick up my papers and I'm falling asleep. But you know what? I am content and fulfilled. Because I know that I'm impacting these kids' lives. And they're learning math now that they've never been able to do before at the school. It's always been a real weakness. You talk about fulfillment. I get paid $400 a week. Yeah, not a whole lot, is it? $80 a day. That's not a whole lot of money, is it? Wow. Now when you consider teachers in public school make 60 to 80,000, I'm making less than 20. See, it's not about success the way the world defines it. It's about contentment and fulfillment. Satisfaction. Did you want to come home and feel satisfied with what you've done? Instead of, oh, I wish I'd done that, or watch TV, oh, I gotta get that, or no, I want this, and I wanna go here, I wanna go. We all want to be satisfied. We all want relief. We want to be able to come in and put our feet up, find solace in our house, comfort, love, be able to read the Bible and go, yes, it speaks to me, it's good. But the world and all their motivations for success never address these 4 things. They never address it. What does the world tell you? Never be content. There's always another step up the ladder. You want fulfillment? Keep pushing yourself. Never be satisfied. Never. You never would be satisfied with where you are. Isn't that what the world says? Scary business, guys. Here's what the Executive Digest said. This is a periodical. I love this quote. And for some of you, you need to copy this down, print it out, and hang it somewhere that you look at every day. You ready? The trouble with success is that the formula for success is the same as the one for a nervous breakdown. Interesting thought, isn't it? The formula for success is the same formula for a nervous breakdown. That's not a Christian periodical. That's a secular print periodical magazine. And it did an article on this whole success-driven world we live in, and it said there's a problem. We keep telling these people to push, push, push for success, but it's also the way you lead to a nervous breakdown. You're never contented, you're never satisfied, you don't have fulfillment, there's never relief because you got to do more and more and more. Even at the expense of your family, at the expense of your friends, at the expense of your health. Work more, do more, be more. fine line between success and a breakdown. Interesting. Here's the formula for success, which is also the formula for a nervous breakdown. You ready? Tell me if I'm wrong. Work longer hours. If you put in more time, you get more done, so you get more success and a promotion faster. Right? Work more hours. You know, I was sitting there thinking, because I was talking to Miss Karen, I told her, I said, I need a break soon. I need a break. I need a break from both churches. I need a break from school. I need some time for me to go away with my family and just be with my family. Oh, you don't work too much. I work too much. I spend all day Saturday making sure everything for church is ready, everything for Bible study, making sure my church Bible study is ready, doing things that I need to get done, that I can't get done through the week. Sunday I work all day. That's 7 days a week. That's not what the Bible said. Well, what do you give up? Working more hours is not always the answer. It's not always right. Push ahead. Regardless of what you leave behind, push ahead. Let nothing stop you. Don't let your wife interfere with your success. Don't let your mom or dad interfere with your success. Don't let your house. If you got pneumonia, take some medicine. Keep going. My daughter Catherine this week was diagnosed with shingles. It's a very painful disease. It breaks out in your skin almost like a chicken pox. And she had it all down her back. She's been out of work since Tuesday. Doctor's orders. She's supposed to go back tomorrow. Do you know what's one of the biggest things that causes shingles? Stress. She's working 2 jobs, going to school. She's trying to get ahead. Nothing stops her from going. Gotta be careful. Be aggressive, right? I don't care what I have to do to Jihoon. I'm going to do what I got to do to get ahead. I don't care about him. It's all about me. Be smart, slick, and sly. Tell Jihoon the project is due Thursday, and yours in Wednesday. Right? Did you know people like that? And focus on your success. Forget everybody else. The only thing that matters is you. That's also the way that you'll find yourself with a nervous breakdown. Filled with anxiety, all kind of problems. Not good. Not good at all. So in the midst of the world telling us all of this, God says, be a servant. Put me first and serve others. Fame, fortune, power, and pleasure. That's the pattern that we've been fed for years and years and years in America. If you don't have fame, if you don't have fortune, power, and pleasure, you're nobody. And can't you see that in our society now? Where somebody like Kate Gosselin becomes a celebrity because she has 8 kids? Are you kidding me? It's craziness. Here's a big problem though. It's coming into the church. We as Christians are embracing this philosophy, and we follow it where we work, and we follow it in our church. We got to be really careful. I don't think you need a church of 2,000, 10,000 people. I think a church of 10 people could impact their community much better than 10,000. Because if you have a church of thousands, what do? They all drive in, walk in, sit down, close the doors, hold their meeting, everybody gets in their cars and leaves. Right? We have to get it together. So let's go 180 degrees. Let's do that U-turn. Let's head back in the other direction. Let's talk about what is success. What is that forgotten side of success that we need to focus on as Christians? 1 Peter 5:5-7 addresses 3 crucial realms of true success. Let's read those verses again. Ready? In the same way, you who are younger, submit yourself to your elders. All of you, clothe yourselves with humility toward one another, because God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. First one is authority. If you want to get your life to be successful in God's eyes, you must embrace authority. And we're going to talk about these. You have to make sure your attitude is what it ought to be. Humble yourselves before God. Stop focusing on you and focus on him. Thirdly, learn to deal with anxiety. Life is filled with anxiety. Constantly. One problem after another. That's life. Learn how to deal with it. So, for authority, recognizing and respecting your authority is pleasing to God, whether you like them or not. How do you like that statement? I don't care if you like your authority or not. I don't care if you like your teacher. I don't care if you like your boss. I don't care if you like the policeman, or the mayor, or the governor, or the president. I don't care if you like them or not. They're an authority in your life. You have to recognize that and respect them. David's philosophy? No. Romans 13, 1 to 5. Everybody ready? So for verses you don't like? Romans 13, verses 1 through 5. Everybody ready? Yes? Mm-hmm. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. What's that telling you right now? Every person in authority in life has been placed there by God. Even the bad ones? Consequently, whoever rebels against the authority is what? Rebelling against what God has done. Ew, 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 ew. What? You gotta be kidding. And those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers hold no terror for those who do right, but those who do wrong. Do you want to be free from fear of the one in authority? Then do what's right and you will be commended. For the one in authority is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, you better be afraid, for rulers do not bear the sword for no reason. They are God's servants, agents of wrath to bring punishment on the wrongdoer. Therefore, it is necessary to submit to the authorities, not only because of possible punishment, but also as a matter of conscience. Guys, here's the bottom line. You better remember this. The way we treat authority is a direct reflection of how we respond to God as an authority. If you hate the people who are in authority over you, then you hate God, who is the ultimate authority. If you don't respect the authority over you, you don't respect God in his authority. The way you treat your authorities is directly relational to how you really feel about God. Do you understand that? Do you have to like your authority? No. Do you have to respect the person? No. Do you have to respect their position? Yes. You can think they're totally wrong, but you still respect them because they are the authority. Does everyone understand this? And guess what? If you go to school and this is how you treat your teachers, if you go to your job and this is how you treat your boss, you come home fulfilled. You've got a peace because you know you do what you're supposed to do. See, it doesn't matter what they do. I am not responsible for some man. I'm not responsible for his choices. I'm not responsible for his actions. I'm only responsible for me. So if he wants to act like an idiot, that's between him and God. I make sure I'm doing what's right. Second one, authority then was attitude. Attitude. We must constantly ensure our attitude is in check and not out of control. We can let our attitude get out of control, can't we? We really can. Especially if you have an authority that is a jerk. And authorities can be really horrible. But you got to keep your attitude in check. You have to make sure your attitude is what it's supposed to be. Hebrews 4:11 through 13. Hebrews chapter 4, verses 11 through 13. They tell us about it. You ready? Hebrews 4:11 to 13. Let us therefore make every effort to enter that rest, so that no one will perish by following their example of disobedience. For the word of God is alive and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. It penetrates even to dividing soul and spirit, joints and marrow. It judges the thoughts and attitudes of the heart. Nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before the eyes of Him to whom we must give an account. You can think you're hiding your attitudes all you want. You're not. Remember, man looks at the outward, but only God looks and knows what's in our hearts. You can fool me all you want with your fake attitude, but God knows exactly what you're thinking. He knows exactly what you're feeling. He knows exactly the hatred and the bitterness and the harmful things that are in your heart towards that person. But if you get that together and you get that right, can you imagine the satisfaction and the relaxation you can find in front of God? Do you get it? But it's opposite to what the world says. Finally, we talk about anxiety. What is anxiety? Give me another word. Nervousness, stress, worry. We need to find the relaxation we have knowing that God is in control and keeping track of all things. It was about 9 years ago, a couple was married in our church. And it was only about 2 to 3 months later, he was coming home one day, getting some groceries out of the truck. And around the corner comes a car driven by a teenager who stole it and kills him instantly. And I remember the shock that overtook the church. And I remember gathering for the funeral and the feeling of depression in the air. And I remember the speaker standing up and saying, "This may be of little comfort, but please know, his death did not take God by surprise. God was there. He knew what was going to happen." And I've never forgotten that. Ever. I think about that all the time. When something happens, I sit there and think, God, you were there. You knew this was going to happen. You took care of it. That relieves stress and anxiety. That gets rid of worry. We need to remember God is there. 1 Peter 5, 6 through 8. 1 Peter 5, verses 6 through 8. Part of what our verse is, plus another one. Ready? Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxiety on Him, because He cares for you. Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. You're going to have troubles, but know that God is there. Go to Him with your anxiety and your cares. He cares about you. He loves you so much. He knows what you're thinking and feeling. Open up your heart. Remember, there's nothing you face that God does not know is happening. He is already there working it out for your good. God is there. It doesn't take Him by surprise. Not at all. Not at all. Nothing takes Him by surprise. You want to be successful today? Do you? Well, to be honest, say, yeah, we do, don't we? Who wakes up and goes, I want to be a failure today? Well, maybe you do. But, what? Most of us wake up and say, I'm going to be successful today, I want to do. But how are we going to achieve that success is the important thing, right? How do we achieve that success? How do we get to where we ought to be? Here's the benefit of doing it God's way. Following God's directives will bring a deep sense of lasting satisfaction. Here is the bottom line, guys. You can put your head on your pillow at night and you can rest. If you humble yourselves, if you choose to be a servant, if you choose success God's way, you'll have peace at night. Instead of, what am I going to do tomorrow? I made that mistake, gotta fix that. That's why people are having heart attacks and stroke. Watch TV commercials. Have you ever seen so many depression, antidepressant medicines now being advertised? Why? Because everybody's pushing so much for success the world's way, and they're not finding it. They're becoming depressed. It's too much. We cannot handle that. Do it God's way. Follow His directive. Have the right respect and attitude about your authority. Keep your attitude in check. Realize it's God who does what He wants in your life. And let your anxiety go. Give it over to God. Trust Him. Rest in Him. Relax in Him. The forgotten side of success. Following God's directives will give a true satisfaction and success that will come to those who develop the heart of a servant. You've got to realize the world's way of success is to constantly head up, right? What's God's way of success? Constantly lower yourself. Become last. Be the servant. Now, I promise you, if you will adopt this thought, you'll find success that you've never understood. Because remember, everybody please remember, catch this. This is not our home. This is not it. We have a whole heaven ahead of us. And we're going to be surprised to see who's elevated to positions of authority in heaven. It ain't going to be Billy Graham, T.D. Jakes. It ain't going to be the pastor of that church in Seoul. He might be a little old, 85-year-old woman who does laundry for people and helps them clean their home and prays very powerfully every day. God's way of recognizing success is not our way. Any questions? In